stand here today, devastated by a huge loss and decided that life has forever changed. I haven't lost sight that I'm the luckiest man alive and truly honored to have been loved by and influenced by my brother. Regardless of anyone's spirituality, I believe that each of our lives have meaning and that each of us have a purpose. Although Chad's path was much different than the average person, I strongly believe that he wasn't given more than he could handle. The more difficulties one has to encounter within and without, the more significant and the higher inspiration his life will be. First question out. Chad defined excellence through his grit, courage, mental strength, and determination to make the best of each moment. As Dr. King said, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. Chad never stopped moving forward. Every moment of every day, Chad was determined to succeed. To do so, he had to defy the odds. When he was diagnosed and treated for cancer in 1976 at the age of 4, he learned to walk and live all over again, even though the doctors didn't expect him to survive. Then in 1994, when he had a serious brain injury, once again, he had to learn how to live and walk again, never once complaining or feeling sorry for himself. In 2012, when he had a stroke, he pressed on with his commanding determination and learned to walk yet again. At home, he did not always use his walker. And a month before he died, he had a rod put in his hip, and even though he was dying of cancer, he found the strength and pride in himself to do the impossible and walk one last time. He took 19 steps. Chad's determination and inability to accept defeat define his legacy, and I hope can give others strength and courage in their own struggles. Chad's victories were the sacrifices he made to compete despite the odds. He didn't measure success by wins and losses, but by will, triumph, determination, and the courage to never give up hope and never say, I can't try. Chad won. Every morning he opened his eyes because he told the world that giving up and that quitting was absolutely not an option. Watching his success with his own struggles, Chad taught me how to live, love, and the importance of patience and understanding. The most influential thing Chad taught me was that you don't always have to be right, and humbleness can be a strength and not a weakness. He also provided strength, love, purpose, and most importantly, an amazing bond within our family. Regardless of Chad's struggles, he never lost sight of the beauty that life has to offer. He taught me that it's not your situation or things that determine your happiness. Instead, he showed me that it is the lens through which you look that truly defines your inner peace. There are people who have it all, money, power, health, and are still unhappy. And there are people like Chad who live with constant struggle, uncertainty, and pain, but yet never lose hope and are truly happy and peaceful. Chad's greatest gift and his strongest asset was unwavering resilience from his ability to also never lose hope. Even in his final days, he never gave up. Semantics were huge to Chad. He didn't use negative words. He focused on what he could do and not what he couldn't do. As Benjamin Huff said in The Tao of Pooh, you'd be surprised how many people violate this simple principle every day of their lives and try to fit square pegs into round holes, ignoring the clear reality that things are as they are. Chad understood this and instead focused and worked hard at what he could do. Chad taught the world how to live despite having the odds against him. Every day was a struggle, but those around him never knew because he didn't complain, was grateful for what he did have and what he could do. He made the impossible possible simply by being hopeful that if he worked hard and never gave up, the next day would be better than today, and the day after tomorrow would be better yet. Chad always had goals and never lost sight of what was needed to accomplish each of them. In Chad's life, hope always persevered. Chad was truly a gift to anyone that crossed his path. Chad's life was far from perfect, but he lived it with perfection. Under conditions that most would say, I quit, Chad quietly rose and told the world, I will not be defeated. He understood that although he could lose his physical strength to illness, that nothing could beat his superhero-like mental toughness. Chad was always in the present, never worrying about yesterday or tomorrow, just enjoying the now. He didn't talk on his cell phone during a movie or dinner. When you were with Chad, you had his undivided attention. He found the pleasure in what we take for granted. His morning routine took hours, but he enjoyed the process. Listening to music, reading, and taking pictures of Mom's cat Molly while in his sink or shower and sending them to me and Mom. When we went places as a family, sometimes we'd forget to tell Chad where we were going. He'd get in the car anyway. Despite not always knowing the destination, Chad enjoyed the journey and the memories we made along the way. Despite the pain and challenges, Chad found joy in life, and I'm happy that I was a big part of that. Many of my fondest memories are with Chad. We shared sports, music, and movies. Chad enjoyed comedies, classic rock, and was a dedicated fan for all of Detroit U of M sports. He always knew the score to every game, and on NFL draft day, he was glued to the TV because he had faith that that draft class would finally bring a championship to Detroit. We had the opportunity to see many great concerts: Kiss, Motley Crue, Aerosmith, Journey, Aero Speedwagon. Like it was mentioned, Chad learned to write athletes he liked and admired while in John Moy's class back some 35 years ago. His collection of autographs is impressive. In this era, people would never send out handwritten letters. Chad handwrote in pencil to the people he liked and admired for over 35 years. He met Wayne Fonson and Warren Barry Sanders. President Obama wrote him a letter in response to Chad's thoughts on his environmental policy. Once while in the hospital, Chad got to meet Lomas Brown, a Detroit Lions football player. Even he was inspired by Chad's story. I have never heard Chad speak negatively about anyone other than the Cowboys, the Spartans, and politicians, whether Democrat or Republican, who didn't embrace environmentalism. Chad was destined for greatness. He was an environmentalist. He knew right from wrong and would never waver. To him, the world was black and white. There was no gray. It was either right or wrong, and if he destroyed the earth or harmed a plant or an animal, no matter the cost, it was wrong. He understood the importance of nature and protecting our environment. He was talking about the importance of environmentalism before it even became a buzzword. Before politicians and the media started talking global warming, Chad was talking conservation. He composted, recycled, grew his own garden, conserved water. He had greater character than any man I know. He was not influenced by popular opinion. Instead, he relied on his inner understanding of what was right for mankind and never gave in. He had a heart so big that he would be frustrated when a limb was cut from a tree. In his eyes, the tree was there before us, did nothing wrong, and most importantly, provided us with the oxygen and the shade that we need to live. To him, we are all one. Thank you, Chad, for teaching us the value of innocence and civility. You showed us that it's truly the simple things that make us happy. You will be missed, but I promise you and your legacy will never be forgotten. I want to thank my parents for showing all of us by their example the definition of love, dedication, and sacrifice. Chad was strong, but my parents gave him strength. Chad was happy because my parents gave him opportunity and never saw his challenges as a reason to not let him live the best life he could. My parents gave Chad the best possible quality of life given his situation. Even though he had seizures, they allowed him to swim in the river. And even though he had no sense of direction, they allowed him to guide me through 40 acres of wooded property as we were growing up. By today's standard, they may look crazy, but to me, they are the perfect parents because he grew up focusing on what he could do rather than on limiting his life with concern over what may possibly happen. They were always concerned, but they never let that keep him from living a happy and normal life. Chad gave me hope, and it is through his teachings that I am hopeful that our family will be fine. He taught me patience and understanding and an appreciation for being different. Most importantly, through Chad, I learned that disability doesn't mean inability. We all do things in our own different way, not right or wrong, just different. Chad showed me that we all need to have patience and understanding in others, allow everyone to speak and have their turn, and remain open-minded. Different isn't bad, it's just different. Chad, I am who I am because of you. You have given me strength and courage, and most dear to my heart, the confidence in knowing that you love me and want nothing but the best for me. Chad, I make this promise to you. No matter what life throws at me, I will carry on your legacy and press on and remember that quitting is absolutely not an option. I will also never lose sight of the pleasure of the moment and the journey. I am me and you are you, as you can see, but when you do the things that you can do, you will find the way, and the way will follow you.